The Sleepers, Chapter 5, Devil's Den. Having refused synthetic substitution, kidney failure gobbled up Karl's fighting life. Training me was his last purpose on Earth, the last thing keeping him going. The fancy trips overseas had dried up. Constriction on plane rides and exhaustive dialysis were just too much. My father offered us a last hurrah before starting senior year, adeptly combining everyone's interest, except Mom's, who wisely stayed home from this retreat. We went to Gettysburg to paint and hike. With these two adults, one never wasted a lunch opportunity in the country. Thus, after many bathroom stops, a lavish cottage meal, and a detour to inspect moss-covered walls, our limo pulled up to the hollowed ground. Our humble driver hopped first out of the vehicle and hurried to assist our curmudgeon. He was greeted with a cane to the ribs.
"Get away!"
Karl barked as he extended the jab through the cracked opening.
"I can do it myself."
That was vanity at best. I prepared to assist Karl. He trusted few people with his life, and our driver was never going to make the cut, especially in this rocky wasteland.
"Get over here and help me out, John."
The order was meant for either father or son, so we both clambered out to our post, claiming his left and right sides. Our driver rushed ahead with the supplies.
"Don't let go!"
shouted Karl as we helped him lumber over strewn rocks spilling into the parking lot. I bit my tongue, accustomed to Karl's outbursts. This might actually be enjoyable, watching my father take a turn at the beating. We planned to paint the boulder pile known as Devil's Den. Slow minutes later, expletives rolled off his tongue when he lost his balance.
"It's an abortion! We'll never get to the spot!"
The teetering threw him into an all-too-familiar coughing fit, the type that seemed to remove portions of the lungs with each heave. "Don't die yet," I reassured, while just barely managing to grab his armpit to steady him from tumbling over. Getting this fragile man into a camp chair on uneven ground, perfectly positioned to capture the right light on the igneous monuments, gave me a real appreciation for the medics that moved bodies away from these front lines. This land was unforgiving and not handicap accessible. Once situated, John Jr. let the painters be. "I'll be back before sunset to reclaim you two."
"Better be back in 2 hours. Light's going to change with that blasted tree line in the way, and our scene will be ruined if we haven't figured it out by then. Besides, I'll need a restroom soon enough or John's going to get more than he bargained for on this adventure." Ha!
I moaned, well aware of every possible problem when field painting with Karl. My father, though, gave a proper but awkward laugh, unsure of Karl's honesty. "I'll just go up the hill and around." Little Round Top was one of his favorite homes to ponder sacrifice. "I won't be gone long." With John Jr. marching up the hill, and Karl finally settled with easel, canvas, brushes, chair, and drink, I could at last relax and breathe for a minute. This was no vacation.
"Aren't you painting today?"
Karl asked, secretly happy he'd made me an artist, even if time for indulgence was rare.
"Can't say I really like them, but there's some nice clouds behind these rocks for you."
Glistening low light accentuated every colorful speck in the granite, pulling out the rust browns and white quartz flecks. One large cloud network stretched from above the sun to well overhead and westward. This blue-gray behemoth had aspirations at rain, but had submitted to the dry forecast as Karl's ideal backdrop. It was perfectly paintable. Settling on a nearby stone outside of his framed view, I broached the real problem. Clouds would have to wait. "I'll paint soon. First I wanted to talk to you about the plan." His ears perked, but he never stopped painting.
"Go on, I'm listening, but I'm not going to miss this good lighting."
"I know," I laughed, trying to find a comfortable spot on this uncooperative rock. "It's just that it's not working. I haven't dreamed once lucidly, and we've been at it for over a year. I've tried every method you can think of. My eyes play tricks on me, seeking dreams among the living. I've counted my fingers more times than I can remember. I've interrupted every personal sleep with an alarm clock at 3 a.m. for months, trying the wild method. I can't take it. I'm a sleep-deprived sleeper with nothing to show for it. And worst of all, I'll be out of time soon, going off to college without your help. I'll be alone with no plan. Actually worse, with Ray and no plan. If you can't teach me lucidity, There's no hope. With the sky now completely on his canvas, he squeezed a hearty amount of burnt umber onto the palette to create a rich, earthy base. Skies were just backdrops for his real passion. He made no eye contact when he at last spoke.
You're right. You have absolutely no aptitude for lucid dreaming. I would have had more luck teaching a sloth, and they're probably too lazy to dream.
Smirking at his own joke, he continued,
My days are few, but maybe you'll figure it out in college, though I doubt it.
He really did look terrible. Renal failure might be the least of Karl's problems at this point. I frowned just thinking about the health of my friend. We needed time to change me. That's the problem, Karl. I'm losing Ray. I waste my precious free time with him to keep him close, but I'm not sure he's sold on family succession. In which case, I've got this year. I've got to manipulate him soon so I can save the world later.
Don't look so glum. That's my job.
His threats were more endearing now than painful. Karl paused, risking lost light, and rotated dangerously in the chair to me. His speech was slow, guarded.
I've been thinking the same for some time. We need a new plan to stop SleepFree. Counting on some miraculous manipulation of the next president via lucidity isn't going to happen. Not from you, anyway.
I nodded in miserable agreement. He smacked his lips loudly.
What is it clients fear most?
He asked, turning back to the painting. Old age?
No, well, yes, but no. They fear widespread lucidity, mind control, all the crazy Senator Blair hysteria stuff.
Ah, I nodded.
It's one thing to hire a guild dreamer and knowingly take the risk. It's another to find out your sleeper has been quietly pulling your strings without your consent.
I shook my head, holding back anxiety. But I can't lucid dream. We've proven that. Hands down. Mind-controlling Ray isn't in the cards. His eyes never left the canvas, but he really did have an idea.
You can't now, but what if you could? Hand me the turpentine jar.
What was he thinking? This was the same plan. Turn me into a lucid dreamer. I spoke up confused. I don't understand.
Forget about you, John. I mean, what if you made every sleeper guild quality?
My eyes widened with the unthinkable horror, and I almost dropped the odorous paint thinner mid-handoff. It would finish SleepFree forever. That's just too dangerous. Too many chances for absolute control of the client class. A smile formed on my face, and I talked slowly as I formulated understanding. But I like it. How? How can we make everyone a lucid dreamer when we can't even change me? Can't be by counting fingers. He shook the brush in the thinner and turned to face me with his own devilish smile.
No, we'll need something more. A lot more. We start next Saturday. I've got a new idea. Now get to painting before he's back.
Reversing plans here at Gettysburg made perfect sense. All my father's cursed holiday Civil War lessons crystallized as my mind focused on the clouds and the canvas. Sacrifice was required to end division. Only pain could heal a broken America. Pickett's charge was not a waste but a path to change. Severity like Sherman's march to Atlanta was necessary. Grant's triumph at Vicksburg showcased the reward of patience and ingenuity, and Appomattox was meant to teach me integrity, understanding Grant's decision to honor Lee rather than demoralize his beaten foe. I looked right up the hill and could make out my father, small but domineering, staring out solemnly across the battlefield. If he couldn't fight the system, he could at least remember the victims. He atoned for his self-anointed impotence by honoring the dead from this last historic civil fracture. He liked to say that we were antebellum America again, on the precipice of civil war, our civilization hanging in the balance. But I knew we already fought my father's war and now lived as losers in forced peace, separate but equal. The nameless victors subjugated peace on two disparate parties. Sleepers paid reparations every second sleep. What change could I bring? Chapter 6. Clouds. Puffy peach cumulus clouds crowned the setting sun. The vanilla shimmer of falling day blanketed the city. Orange-yellow hues illuminated city stonework, and the departing sun reflected brilliantly off downtown's glass towers before its daily resting. The rising lavender backdrop of night signaled sleep's approach. It was a perfect dusk. People bustled home below in the city maze, finding entrance to their escape. Lights across the city morphed from offices to kitchens to bedrooms to silence. It was the perfect setting for the discovery, the time of sleep, the time of sleeplessness. Except many homes did not rest. In too many homes the lights burned day after night after day, indifferent to nature's clock. The clients lived on, ignoring the moon and the sun. I ponderously soaked in the day's farewell from my balcony. Inside the room was cold, the studies dark. My purpose belonged to this milieu, the time when nature conquers will, the time intended for rejuvenation. On this evening, alone in this world, beckoned to rest by celestial orbs, I made my discovery. I could feel that tests would be necessary, time would be required to prove my work, but I knew that this time, of all times, I had found the drug to unlock lucid dreams for everyone. I held the cumulus drug, the drug that would force folks to again look up, the drug that would end SleepFree and eradicate the sleeper class and shared sleep. In my hands was the antidote to the cure, the undoing of the done, the end of ray and sleep slavery everywhere, the answer of lucidity. Then I awoke. Everything had been so clear. The colors were right. The towers were accurate duplicates of our skyline. I could remember the texture of my balcony railing, the breeze on my cheeks, everything. And I could read. Words didn't vanish or morph. Nothing was blurry or forgotten. It had been real, or as close as I could imagine. Yet it was a dream, the first of many. Still wondering which world was real, I pulled off the visor and detached the single connection used by clients. I was on the couch in Karl's living room. He slumped in his armchair, napping loudly while I received this short download. I gave him a hard look before waking him. He was old and frail, but he looked more peaceful asleep. He must be dreaming something nice, letting go of that crusty exterior upheld in the land of the living. The city dreamed proved Karl really was as good as he claimed. This had been his new plan. Reviving him with a tap on the leg, the grimace seemed to return instantly. He wasn't mad at me, just everyone else. I stayed on the couch and relayed every detail of the dream, the clouds, the buildings, my apartment, the discovery, the name we'd chosen for our mystery drug, etc. My recollection and awe earned his silence. He wanted to hear of this triumph because it was his masterpiece. No one transmitted better dreams. Clearing his throat to speak led to a small coughing fit. Before I could find some water, he popped a cough drop and motioned me to stay sitting. What came next revealed just how much shared sleep would have opened new doors of honesty between us.
I'm so tired of packed SleepFree, the peace they offer. I'm tired of this bloody new world order. I'm tired of status quo. What is it these drones all say? Go with the quo? I've had enough. Senator Blair, Senator Esperanza, all those dirty Washington dictators running our lives, ensuring we never wake up. Keep them sleeping. Keep the peace. That's their mission. They aren't fighting for me.
He paused to shrug and smile, but he wasn't done.
Ha! They don't even know I exist.
I smiled, happy to see Karl laugh at his own joke.
They are fighting for their survival, or worse, perpetuation. Sleep has ended world conflict and contented the fat, stupid masses.
He grabbed my visor off the end table only to shake it violently.
Sleepers rest peacefully employed, forgetting there is life outside of this damn headband, and clients rest peacefully on borrowed dreams. They are empty vessels, facades of mankind, worthless scavengers. The real people in charge are either politicians in Washington, glutting on packed SleepFree, or people like myself, sleepers that live vicariously through their clients, never at risk of failure, paid to be sloths. Your family has secured the greatest human achievement. Those who do nothing finally control those that do all, and no one is awake enough to stop it.
I'd never seen such directed passion from Karl. It was inspiring. I hated to interrupt. "But we'll stop it, right?"
Yes! Yes, we will!
He toasted, with the visor now a mock champagne glass in his hand. I grabbed the delivery tube and raised it back in ironic celebration.
"When everyone can dream lucidly, when your mystery drug is launched upon the world, the SSC will fall. The paranoid public, so fast to turn and run, will scream for SleepFree's end, fearful of total mind control, and the technology will implode. You better cash out of stock quietly before that day comes."
He was always practical, and if you could look past the sour attitude, usually right. "You can count on it," I answered. Our new plan was simple, if not impossible, or at least improbable. Create and deliver a drug that would convert all sleepers into lucid dreamers. Then let the world fall apart. Gettysburg was a wake-up call for us both.
"I can't help you make this drug,"
he'd said before plugging me in for the download.
"But I can dream."
From then until graduation, Karl transmitted nuggets of future visions that I might feel the assurance of prophecy in my quest and believe in myself. They were short lucid dreams, designed to instruct me through experience and open my mind to the power and danger of lucidity. We kept them infrequent enough to prevent upsetting my internal sleep clock, an imminent supposed danger when sleepers also borrowed sleep. But as much as possible, I would learn from Karl's sleeping mind. All that was needed now was to study sleep science and chemistry with Ray, like our fathers, discover a mystery drug, and secretly insert that drug into the sleeper's daily cocktail without anyone finding out. No problem. Through Karl's dreams, I became a client, and I saw the other side. With each download, I dreamed of looking out from a high tower, entranced by the clouds and the setting sun, expansive color splotches on the evening canvas, clients scampering below, unknowing and self-absorbed. On a balcony over the half-sleeping city, I found the answer, the drug, dream after dream from the master, clouds, and my cumulus drug.